What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a product review specifically on camp fridges. I haven't done a lot of product reviews here on the channel that aren't things that you add to your vehicle, but I figured I'd start to incorporate them into the channel because they're kind of a vital part of what makes camping easier. And I wanted to give you guys my honest thoughts on products that I've used in the past, and then of course new ones that I'm always continuing to test. So over here on the left side of the screen, we have my tried and true SetPower AJ40. You can see with all the stickers on here and places we've been, it's been a great fridge. I love this thing. I will be doing a follow-up video here in the near future on this fridge, in conjunction with how we operate it with solar and battery charging stations, that I think is optimal, and honestly one of the probably most efficient and affordable setups that I've had and owned that's made my life easier in the past for camping. But today's video is about this bad boy. This is the new SetPower PT45. The AJ40 is technically a 40 quart, comes out to about 45, but this is the PT45, which is technically a 48 quart freezer and refrigerator, whereas the AJ40 is just a refrigerator. So I'm going to take the camera here off the tripod in a sec and walk you through this brand new PT45, which I am super excited to get into with you guys today. Stick around. All right, let's get into it. The SetPower PT45. Again, as I mentioned, the big differentiator between this and my tried and true AJ40 is that this fridge is a freezer and refrigerator combo. Something that in recent years a lot of manufacturers are starting to lean into, and I hadn't experienced that myself, so I wanted to get my hands on one of these. Again, big shout out to SetPower for sending this out. I purchased the original AJ40 with my own money. Love that thing. And the PT45 here, they sent out to me for review for you guys, and I am super excited and grateful to be partnering with them in this video today. So from face value, you can kind of see they're basically the same size. This one's a little bit further back in inset. I may actually pull that one out in a sec so you can do a direct comparison. But overall, although this has maybe 3 quarts more, they essentially have the same footprint. I think is great. They are plenty deep. You got plenty of storage for drinks and food goods in there, and then of course you got your side here for the freezer. Got some nice instructions and power cables that we'll get into in a few minutes. Might as well pull those out right now. Always good to have your instruction manual. And then our power cables right here that'll make powering this thing easy to do at home, to get things cold, and then of course to plug it into a charge system later on. Before I forget, if you are interested in either of these fridges by the time this video or the next video comes out on the AJ40, I will have an affiliate link and link to SetPower's website down in the description box below. So you'll be able to use that link to get some sort of discount. I'll provide a discount code as well. Overall, that just supports the channel and keeps us moving forward in a positive direction. To start, let's kind of go over what we see from the outside here. So they advertise this to be about 24.4 inches deep, 15 inches wide, and 19 high. So it fits really nicely in the back seat of the Tacoma. That's usually where I put it. I don't have a fridge slide or anything. If you're a follower of the channel, you know that I like to keep things very simple so that I can kind of transport camping gear in the back. Plus, I don't want my fridges to get super dusty while we're out there on the trail. As I mentioned at the beginning, we do have all these charge cables here so that you do have the option to power this fridge either via DC or AC chargers. They do actually come also with a 3-year warranty, all of SetPower's fridges, which is really nice, especially for those of us who may be using and abusing them to more of an aggressive extent. But I've had 0 issues with this fridge over here for the course of almost 5 years. So I stand by this product line, and I think that this fridge will easily do fine within that time frame. But if you're interested, it's really nice to have that 3-year warranty on the product itself. What's really nice is this fridge, as I mentioned, is a fridge freezer. So the freezer side will cool from whatever ambient temp down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit in about 15 minutes. And then on the other side, or the fridge freezer side, whatever you call it, it'll actually go down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit in about 45 minutes. So it's a pretty quick system. I don't know how it compares to a lot of the others on the market, but for my personal uses, that's going to be perfect, because I usually charge these up at home, and then once they're cold, I get on the road, I plug it into the charge battery, power outlet, and we're good to go. Speaking of which, I'm going to go and get my power system here in a second, and we're going to go ahead and plug this thing in and look at the different settings. All right, so I'm going to grab here, this is my trusty Gold Zero 500X. Also had this for quite a long time. I do plan to do kind of like a long-term review on a lot of my camp gear. I know there's a lot of camp gear out there that people will continue to upgrade year over year, whatever the hottest and newest thing is. I've found some gear that I bought first time after doing a lot of research and wanted to make sure that I did it right the first time. And these two paired together were an excellent choice, and they're both working just fine. So again, this is the Gold Zero Yeti 500X. I don't think they make that one anymore, but at any rate, what we're going to do here is take the cable that has the cigarette lighter output, or input rather, remove some of that excess zip tie kind of wiring, and I want to turn my back to you guys, and I'm going to, let's see, plug this guy in, and then plug this guy directly into the Gold Zero. Turn that on, and now we should be in business. So now that the fridge is on and powered, it makes zero sense why I'm doing this right now, because it's trying to get down to temp, yet it's super sunny and bright out. But I did want to show a few of the features that are included here. Once it's powered on, of course, you do get these nice LED strips, which make visibility into the contents of your fridge a lot easier, especially at night at camp. Same goes for the freezer section here. I always have really liked this kind of perforated, oh, you can see the condensation working up there. This material that SetPower uses, I don't know if that's what every fridge uses, but I've always found it really easy to clean and really easy to use, especially when you're working with things that can easily spill while you're at camp. When I get home, I don't have to worry about ice. I don't have to worry about cleaning anything up. If I did spill anything, food, condiment wise, I can just reach in there and kind of wipe it all up, which makes things super easy. But on the top here, again, these are individual compartments, make it really nice. Nice click there. This top portion is kind of like a texturized material. I'd expect similar to the AJ40. It can be used as a bench, a seat. The only downside is I don't believe these have cup holders, which the AJ40 here does, which I did kind of like that. But again, when you open these up, you do have a really nice tight weather sealing here. And then of course this kind of, I wouldn't call it honeycomb, but like squared off material. I'm sure there's a scientific reason behind why they create it like that, but I found that it's a good look and it keeps things nice and cold. Again, the weather stripping is super taut and really does the trick. When you close this, there's like no give in the fridge at all. So I really like the latches. They kind of keep things nice and cold, and they're super sturdy. So overall, from the display here, which I found to be fairly intuitive, the sound, I don't know if you can hear that, I'm wearing a mic, that's super quiet, which I love. And just having the amount of space, I mean, I know it's only 3 quarts bigger than my AJ40, but the fact that now this top section, which there is a top section in the AJ40, it's just kind of connected, and I would say much less roomy. This creates a much better way for me, I think, to camp and kind of stockpile this. One other thing that I will add that people may ask about is some of the fridges, including the AJ40, there is like a cargo basket, which kind of like latches onto the sides here. And that makes it easy. You can just kind of pull that out with your hand and everything kind of comes out. This doesn't have that. So I'm not super disappointed, but I think that that is a nice feature. Again, that being an older fridge, maybe they didn't get a lot of reviews, people saying they needed it, but this one does not have it. And for the time being, I'm not too concerned about it. Overall, really nice design. Sticker ready, like I have all the stickers bombed on that one. I don't like to put them on the truck, I like to put them on the fridge. Nice beefy handles. I don't have handles on this one. We'll have to see if I'm one to keep these or not. But I think that the fact that these actually fold down is really nice. I believe the ones on the older fridges were stationary, so they were something like this, not as extreme. But on this one, I can actually just fold it down and it looks super nice. On this side, I will also add, we got lots of large exhaust ports to kind of keep the system clean, getting good air flow throughout the time that it's cooling. Got a little dent on mine already. It's probably my bad if it came like that. But yeah, overall, I'm super excited to test this out, honestly. And I'm gonna throw it in the back of the truck here in just a second to show you guys the size comparison, because I do keep them both in there at, well, I'm going to keep this one in there, but I keep that one in there behind the driver's seat, and it's always worked perfectly, flawlessly. It's got the same LEDs that this one has on the inside. And see what we're up to here. So this one's down to 61. I know you can't tell, and this one's still at 77, which is fine because I've had this thing open and it's quite warm. Again, fire season out here in California, and yeah, hopefully they get those fires put out here pretty soon. But that's not stopping me from making this video for you guys all here today. So super excited about this fridge. Again, huge shout out to SetPower for sending this out. I'm super excited to be able to partner with them finally after, like I said, bought that with my own money. They sent me this one, so pumped. All right, so full disclosure, it's really bright, and this diffused smoke cover, actually, we're experiencing a lot of wildfires here in California. It's creating a really difficult light for us to be able to see the actual display. So the compressor is on in the PT45. It's super quiet. It's even quieter than the AJ40, which we've gone through many long road trips and it's been excellent. It's quiet. No, it doesn't bother anyone. Dog sleeps like leaning against it. It's been great. So just so you all know, if you have questions about how loud this thing is when it's operating, it's very quiet. And I already set the freezer section to about 22 degrees, and then I set the refrigerator section just north of 33 degrees. I don't know if I said that right. I set the freezer in the 20s and the refrigerator in the 30s. And so I'm not going to do like a full in-depth, like how long does it take to cool down. Again, like I said, it takes typically 15 minutes to get down to 32, 45 down to 0. If you want things to run a little warmer, then it's going to take you less time. But it's plugged into the Goal Zero 500X, which was at about 98% when I got here, so I'm not worried about running out of juice while I'm filming this video. But let's kind of get into the display. And again, if you can't entirely see, just take my word for it. I apologize. What am I going to do? I don't control wildfires out here. So I'll flip the camera around here towards the PT45 and we'll kind of get into it. All right. So like I said, I apologize if you can't quite see this. I am having a hard time as well. They're both reading about 73 degrees. I have the freezer section set to high. I'm trying to get it as cold as fast as possible. And then the compressor speed on the side that's just the refrigerator is also on max. I'm not concerned about draining the battery out of the Goal Zero at this moment, so we're just full sending it. Again, I will say, if you're ever trying to get things cold, I do recommend plugging this in at home, throwing everything that you want in there, cooling it down, because as many people know, if you have like a whole bunch of cold drinks in the refrigerator, once those get up to temp, they're going to help keep the refrigerator cold longer. And same goes for the freezer. If you've got like 2 quarts of ice cream in there that are dead frozen by the time you put them in there, it's going to be super helpful. So I did notice that you have to long press the on and off instead of just pushing it, which is how the other fridge works. So you long press on And then the same for the settings. So get it from low, middle to high. You need to adjust it that way. And then of course you have your temperature controls right there. Same goes for the other side. Hold it for cooling, max. So right now it says it's cooling. I'm going to set it to max. I'm sure there's an easy way to get it to set to min. I'll figure that out in a few minutes here, but that's kind of the easy way to set that up. And overall it's fairly intuitive, so I'm not too concerned about how, you know, how this is. This is not difficult. Anyone can kind of figure this out. The display is really nice, especially when compared to the AJ40, which again, I'll keep saying I love, but this overall has been super nice. I don't know if you can hear now, the compressor just kicked on again and it's going at a super quiet speed, which I'm assuming is the loudest it'll get considering we're on max and high for both sides. Okay, so last little thing I wanted to show you, like I said, this is typically how I will carry the fridge in the vehicle. I'll keep the little battery bank down there behind the seat, and this will sit right here. Leaves plenty of room for our dog on the other side. Any other gear, we also have the overland attic, which adds extra square footage, I suppose. But this is kind of where it sits. And what's nice is it still opens fully on both sides. I know there's different fridge slide versions you can get to make this work better in the tailgate, but this is kind of how I like it. I like to keep it in the vehicle so that this doesn't get all dusty. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I don't have a garage, so a lot of the gear that we keep for camping stays in the office back at home when we're not using it. So super nice. I just can't get over how robust this thing is. This is all like an aluminum kind of shell, and the rest is like this heavy duty textured material, which from what I can tell, if it's anything like the other fridge, is super robust. Before I forget, I'd also like to remind you guys that if you are interested in either a SetPower PT45, AJ40, or any of the other models that they have on their website, I will leave my affiliate link in the description box below, as well as a discount coupon code, so you guys can kind of feel incentivized to go check them out. These aren't the only two fridge freezers they have on their website. There's kind of something that matches exactly what you need on there. They've got, I don't know, 20 plus models. So if there's something that you're looking for that isn't quite here, but you like what you see, let me know. I can kind of point you in the right direction, because I've kind of lived with one of these models for quite a long time, and then I'm excited to kind of test this one out. All right, you guys, that about wraps up today's review of the SetPower PT45. I know I keep slapping it, might be really loud on audio, but you've got to do it sometimes. Yeah, so compared to my previous model, which again I've reiterated a bunch of times in this video, this thing rocks. I have no issues with it. I was curious to know and kind of begin to live with the kind of freezer fridge setup, so I'm super excited to get out and test it. You'll probably see me using this in a future camping video that we have coming up. And overall, from the display, the advertised, like how cool it gets, how fast, I'm super excited about it. And then just overall build quality, I do think has come a long way since the initial AJ40. I don't know how long this one's been on the market, but like I said, I've had it for quite some time. So overall, super excited about it. Like I said, we're continuing to say display, quietness of the compressor, how quick it cools down, the materials, the size for being a fridge and freezer is really not that much bigger than the other one. So super excited to see how that kind of compares down the line. At any rate, if this is your first time watching a video of mine, consider getting subscribed, click that like button, comment down below. I always swear by that I comment or will respond to any comment that you guys leave in the description below, so get in there. And of course, if you're curious about any other product reviews or trail videos, consider giving those a watch. Those are always really fun. Grab some popcorn and enjoy some of those longer form content videos. But until next time, enjoy the ride.